Hey everyone, Decav13 here, and welcome back to some more Let's Play Master Detective Archives Rain Code. Alright, heading into the fourth Mystery Labyrinth, or Chapter 4's Mystery Labyrinth now. This would be, what, the fifth one, I think? Yeah, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, fifth one. I guess we'll find out what happened. Oh shit, I just remembered something. I'll have to pause recording for a second when I get to a part that's not moving around.
Again with the falling. Why can't it ever be a gentle landing?
Okay.
Oh, Vivia. This is called the Mystery Labyrinth.
So, this place is a physical manifestation of mysteries from the case?
You seem well informed.
You can tell? Oh, well, anyway, this actually isn't my forte. It's...
Due to the power of death. Her, right?
Huh?
So you really could see me this whole time.
He could?
It's due to my spiritual affinity. Ever since I was young, I've been able to see otherworldly things. My forte was gained through training that innate talent. Though, I wasn't able to see her clearly like this before. I could tell you were talking to some haze following you around, but that was it. Until one day, I used my spectral projection at the agency, and saw that death got clear as crystal. After that, I did some research. I discovered that the WDO Underground Book Vault held something called the Book of Death, and also that someone had taken it.
Did I take it? Before I lost my memories?
I don't know. Since you're a rookie, I doubt you'd have access to the book vault.
Yeah, because the only one who get into that vault is number 1, right?
Only a handful of people have WDO clearance for that.
Just a handful?
Anyway, you've been using this ability to solve the other cases up till now, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, this is also related to the mysterious deaths of all those culprits? My guess is, clearing a labyrinth, a materialization of a mystery, causes its true perpetrator to die. If that's the case, you've killed a lot of people with your own hands, Yuma.
Well, I didn't really kill anyone. It's just what happens when...
Nope. I may be the one reaping their souls, but the blood is still on your hands.
What? Hey!
No point in pretending to be a goody two-shoes. You're risking your life to solve these mysteries.
I see. So you're determined to do this, huh? Sorry, but I don't think I have that kind of conviction myself. So, I think I'll take a nap here while you go and risk your life.
You can sleep if you want, but you won't be able to get out.
Is that so?
If you're not with Master when and if he solves the labyrinth, this place will collapse around you. Well, if you don't have any regrets in the real world, you're free to die here.
Regrets? I don't have any of those. But there are still some things I've left unfinished. Especially after you exposed the mystery of this case.
What do you mean by that?
I'll be perfectly clear. I'm just going to tag along. I'll leave the heavy lifting to you.
I don't care what you do, just don't get in our way. Well, Master, let's do the usual.
Yeah, okay.
Master, are you ready to give your life for the truth?
I am.
that sword for cutting through mysteries? This place must be pretty dangerous.
And almost forgot about that for a second.
Here you go, Master. Here's your solution key.
Is that key something like a clue for the case? Wow. Looks like you're ready to go.
Could you be more of a doubter? Whatever. I'm gonna ignore you. So let's go and unriddle this mystery labyrinth. Let's hunt down this culprit who preys on the truth.
We have to walk? This is unbearable.
Come on! You're bumming me out here.
I thought you were going to ignore him. Say, Vivia, do you remember anything about the case?
You mean Dr. Huesca's murder? Or are you talking about when Chief Yako was attacked?
Huh? You remember? Everyone else that came here lost their memories.
That's pretty rare. Must be because of his whole spiritual thing.
Probably.
So the others lost their memories. That's why no one remembers this death god.
How rude of them. It's thanks to yours truly that those pieces got solved.
That reminds me, I used my coalescence with Fubuki before Vivia. But Vivia is the only one who came into the mystery labyrinth.
I guess coalescence got overridden. Maybe it only takes the most recent ability. I don't know either.
You don't know? But coalescence is your power, Shinigami.
Relax, will ya? Minor detail.
You would have been better off with Fubuki. She would have been far more useful for this case.
It doesn't matter anyway. No one can use their forte here.
Oh. So now I really don't have to do anything. Thank goodness. What a relief.
Jeez! You ever think your lack of motivation could be contagious?
Hey, relax.
Thanks, Vivia. So I'm guessing the first cues we're gonna see are gonna take the form of Yomi. So what do we solve? Okay, so what's the first question?
Ooh, there's that mystery!
Huh?
What?
I wish they wouldn't spring out of nowhere like that.
I thought this labyrinth would only require your wits. But it looks like it's going to take more than that, Yuma.
Well, he doesn't have a whole lot of wits, so he doesn't have a choice.
What the hell? This is a first. No question and the doors are locked?
Why didn't a problem appear?
Not only was there no problem, no choice appeared either.
Huh.
Master, maybe you don't even know which mystery to start with to solve this case.
Yeah, there's so many unknowns. I'm honestly feeling lost right now.
Come on! You gotta know where to start with this stuff, or you won't be able to solve a single thing. Let's decide that for now. What's the first mystery of this case?
The first mystery is...
Would it be the intruder's entry route?
the fact that Dr. Huesca was murdered in a completely locked room with no way in or out. The doctor
I think we
was
should tackle that
located deep in
first.
the critical lab, behind layers of security. And yet, he was found stabbed to death. We were the first to discover the body. At the time, we were controlling the robot, Amapel. Because of that, we were thought to be the culprits. But we obviously aren't. So how did the culprit get in and out of the doctor's lab? That's what I don't know.
But the culprit is definitely the hitman, right?
Has to be.
I think so, but I'm not absolutely sure. Besides, even if the hitman did it, there's the question of who hired him. But there's no doubt the hitman stabbed Chief Yako. That's the only thing I'm absolutely certain about.
Oh, peacekeepers.
Peacekeepers?
Kanai Ward's garbage. What are you doing here?
Yomi Hell's smile.
So the director of the Peacekeepers is here.
Yeah, but he's just part of the Mystery Labyrinth.
I figured. In other words, he's a monster created from the Labyrinth, right?
Right.
You pieces of shit.
Yeah, that looks about
Serving
right.
a piece of Kanai Ward.
This guy doesn't seem like an easy opponent.
Ew, floppy sword.
But we have no choice. For Chief Yako. For everyone.
You killed Dr. Weska, didn't you? Turn yourselves in so I can torture you to death!
All right. So what keys are we working with here? Toxic gas properties, shoe prints on Amapal's head.
You're the ones who killed Dr. Weska. You disarmed the security system to the doctor's lab. And then murdered him inside. Until you actually entered the lab, the security system for the critical lab stayed active. It's impossible to bypass the system while it's active. In other words, no one can enter the doctor's lab. There couldn't be an intruder.
There we go. Yep, the shoe print on Amapal's head proves that.
When the body was first discovered, Amapal was about to enter the doctor's lab. But something bumped into it and knocked it over. In fact, there was a mark on Amapal's head, like someone kicked it. That mark wasn't there when we borrowed it. It's proof that someone else was in the lab.
You call that evidence? Is bullshit the only thing that comes out of that mouth? Don't make me laugh. Oh, shit! There was an intruder? That's impossible!
Oh.
And in fact, you proved that yourself!
Damn!
So many self-serving arguments. It's all made up. Use your powers of deduction and repel the contradiction. I wonder if you proved that yourself. Ow.
Shit! There was an intruder? That's impossible! And in fact, you proved that yourself!
That claim doesn't hold up! What do you mean? We proved there wasn't an intruder!
You still don't understand? Don't make me laugh!
Lab map airlock decontamination device.
If there was another intruder, then where did they go? By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right? There's no place to hide in the critical room.
That's not true.
Through this mystery.
They were hiding in the airlock decontamination device when we all ran in. That's how they were able to hide past
There's a hiding
us.
spot. It's inside the airlock's decontamination device. The vents cover can be easily removed, and there's just enough space for someone to fit inside. If they hid inside the decontamination device, we wouldn't have seen them when we arrived at the scene.
Right.
So what? You've got it all wrong anyway. Everything is wrong. Your existence is all wrong. Have fun chasing that fake truth you found.
So that explains how they were able to get out past us. So yeah, when Tetsuhiko Fubuki and Yuma ran into the lab, they were hiding in the air filter. Then they just simply got out. And that's when they ran into Chief Yako and stabbed him in the hall.
This time, but it's not over yet.
Although we still don't know how they got in the I have this weird suspicion, but we'll see.
Persistent, huh?
Anyway, there's no doubt someone else was inside the doctor's lab. So let's unravel each mystery one at a time.
All right, we'll get it this time.
Oh, again. Was there an intruder?
Come on, why does it have to be so sudden?
Okay, now that we've wedged our way into this mystery, we just gotta head through the labyrinth and reach the truth!
Was there an intruder? It has to be yes. There was an intruder in the lab.
Right here!
We're just now getting to the point. What a pain.
Hey, don't sigh, this is a good thing!
Sorry.
Anyway, let's head inside.
There was an intruder for sure! We know someone bumped into Amapau.
Right.
The culprit probably hit Amapel on their way out. After that, they must have intended to leave the lab. They couldn't because we were in the front chamber. So they hid inside the decontamination device to avoid us.
So, if you checked inside the decontamination device on the way to the scene, you would have caught the culprit then and there.
Yeah, but it was an emergency and we had no idea they were in there.
It's super lame to make up excuses, Master!
It's not an excuse, but it is true. If I had thought about why Amapal was knocked over at that time, I would have realized the culprit was in there. We could have waited in ambush or searched for them. And if I'd caught the culprit then, Chief Yako wouldn't have gotten stabbed.
Master, wallowing in regret is even lamer. If you have time for that, you have time to keep going.
Right.
Dungeons definitely starting to get more thematic, huh? Okay, what are we doing next? So we deduced that there was an intruder in the lab. They hid in the decontamination device, and that's how they got... Oh, 3 options for a question now.
Another fork in the path.
How did the culprit enter the lab? Yeah, that's
Seems
what I
like we're
wanna know.
finally at the central question.
Never entered in the first place.
This is the first step to solving how the culprit committed an
By the
impossible
doctor.
murder.
Deactivate security by cutting
I
power.
leave the rest to you. I'm going to read a book or something.
Thanks, Vivia.
You can bring your own stuff into the mystery labyrinth?
He's just special.
Okay, so it's on a separate power system, so they couldn't have got in by cutting the power. I don't think the doctor would have invited anyone into the lab. Were they in there the whole... What do you think, Vivia? I'll leave it to you to solve this one, Yuma. Okay, thanks.
Come on!
Show that good-for-nothing anemic vampire what's up with your killer deductions, Master. Could it possibly be?
Right here!
That's the only option left.
Culprit never entered? But you said there's no doubt the culprit was in there.
Perhaps the intruder is not the culprit after all.
So you're saying that the doctor committed
No,
suicide.
that's not true either.
If the doctor committed suicide, then the culprit wasn't the intruder, but the doctor himself.
But if the doctor did it,
Dead end.
there would be no intruder. The doctor was already in the lab.
Oh.
Huh? A trap?
Guess you were wrong, Yuma. Well,
Well,
I already knew that before you entered.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
You wanted me to tell you? You should have said so earlier. People only grow by learning from past mistakes, which is why I purposely...
oh, living statues.
Out of here!
How do we get out?
Use logic to show how this route is the wrong one!
All right, I'll try.
All right. Yeah. Because he was stabbed in the back, he couldn't have committed suicide.
That's right. The doctor was stabbed 3 times in the back. One stab would have indicated that he held the knife in place, then fell on it to kill himself. But he couldn't have made 3 wounds like that. There's no way it was a suicide.
Right. Okay, so that's not the right option. So it has to be one of the other two
Well,
then.
I may have messed up, but at least we got a little closer to the truth.
Maybe, but if you hadn't messed up in the first place, you wouldn't have to come up with such a lame excuse.
I know. I'll do better next time.
So I'm guessing it had to be... Again, though, I don't think the doctor would have invited anyone in. So... Well, then again... Because it doesn't seem like security was deactivated. It has to be this. No?
Right here.
The doctor invited the culprit in? But why?
Things are so muddled now because we're assuming the culprit forced their way inside. If the culprit was invited to the lab, then he easily would have been able to enter.
Ah, so you think the doctor disabled the security?
No.
He wouldn't need it if he was
This
expecting
is why.
a guest.
Okay, so the logs say didn't disable security, so this is wrong too. So it has to be during the power outage. Okay.
Huh? Is Rutha again?
Well, now I know why. Okay.
The log on the doctor's computer, if that's the case.
Alright. Now I'm just making a fool of myself. So it was by the cut power. I thought the whole point that it was on a was that it was on a separate power grid.
The culprit used the blackout to slip past security and into the lab.
No, because this isn't right
That
either.
answer is pretty simple. Almost too simple.
Are none of these right?
Huh? What? This was the last route.
This labyrinth is a tricky one. It's like one of those old detective novels. Perhaps you're the real culprit, Yuma.
Really, Master?
Of course not. Focus. We need to get out of here.
So yeah, the thing that disproves this is the power supply. It's a whole separate system that manages that supply.
The doctor said the critical lab was on a separate grid, and the lab switchboard wasn't in the electrical room. The security wouldn't shut off, even if there was a blackout in the building.
Right. So what does this mean?
What's going on? Were all 3 routes wrong?
I wonder what it means.
This is strange. This has never happened before. Oh, there's a 4th door.
Hey, there's another door!
I get it! Since we proved that every possibility was wrong, a new one has appeared!
Interesting. The Mystery Labyrinth not only materializes the case, but also changes based on your investigation.
Right. Something felt off about those other routes.
Yeah.
It's almost like we were forced to choose the wrong way.
But by eliminating each wrong answer one by one, you opened the path to the right answer.
Huh.
You sound disappointed.
Who cares? Let's just see what's in the final route!
Okay. Entered in...
They use spectral projection to enter and kill him?
Vivia.
Then, the culprit is... I can't believe the culprit entered the labyrinth with us. That's never happened before. How dare you trick me! There is no escape! Once the mystery labyrinth is solved, the culprit will be judged! Master, let's finish up this mystery labyrinth and boom kill this dude!
Hold on!
No, but that can't be it either. You can't interact with things while you're astral projecting. So this is wrong too.
Huh? Another trap?
Of course it was.
That's why I said to wait. There's no way Vivi is the culprit.
Then, prove it and beat this thing! I won't be convinced until you do!
Right, and this is where the attributes come in. Because he can't interact with things when in ghost form.
To begin with, nothing can be touched while in ghost form. He couldn't have held the murder weapon, the knife. So it's not possible that he stabbed the doctor. Now do you trust Vivia?
Master, I've said this 1,000 times, but a detective must suspect everything. Besides, it's his fault for being so sketchy. The way he looks, how he talks, everything is super suspicious.
Sorry. I do try to stay out of sight.
Anyway, let's go back.
Jeez, this labyrinth's a fucking messy one, huh?
If he's not the culprit, then we're back to square one.
Let's try going back to the fork in the path. Maybe something else changed. Nothing's changed.
There aren't any new doors.
Oh.
What? There's nowhere to go? What was the point of eliminating all the other paths?
Come on.
Don't start with that again. How about you help us for a change? You better cooperate, unless you want to get chopped up by Master Solution Blade.
Hold on, Shinigami.
I don't want to get chopped up. I dislike pain. Immensely. But you know, the journey up to now wasn't a waste. we did eliminate many possibilities.
So does that mean there was no intruder?
But that means nothing if we can't reach the truth.
Nothing. Why do you want the truth in the first place?
Huh?
It's easy to say you want the truth. But are you sure you can handle it? No matter how cruel the truth may be.
Can I handle it?
I'm still not sure if you're the kind of person who can. I bet you're not sure either. That's why you're still so hesitant. This mystery labyrinth also reflects your reluctance. Maybe that's why you can't reach the truth.
What are you talking about? I've said it before and I'll say it again. I won't hesitate to expose the truth.
So you still haven't realized it? Guess you're not quite there yet. Well, that's fine for now. But eventually, you'll be forced to make a choice. When that happens, you have to prove your conviction and expose the truth. Like you said.
Enough nonsense. Let's find some clues.
I'm getting a really bad feeling about this case.
As an apology for the distraction, let me tell you something. This labyrinth appears to change shape by reflecting our investigation. So, instead of following the revealed path, isn't it possible to carve your own path?
Carve my own path? That's right, Shinigami! We can create new routes with our own deductions. Maybe we can do it here.
Sometimes, just a slight change in perspective is enough to completely change how you see things.
So if I change my perspective here, I might see something new. I see. I was so focused on how to overcome the security system. But that's not right. I need to change my perspective and think about who could have overcome it.
Don't box yourself in with your own assumptions.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
I hate when the anemic vampire tells us what to do. But if Master wants to, then fine. I'll lend you my power. Lay it all out, Master.
Okay, so it's a Shinigami thing. Okay, so let's see what the thing is here. So we'll have to spell.
Are you ready to play the
Who is capable of overcoming the security system? Right, I'm a pal. Okay, so Amapal is able to overcome the security system. Wait. So we know that Amapal can get past the security system. Stairs up.
A new route appeared.
This is all thanks to me.
Perhaps I said too much. Well, nothing has been solved yet.
I wish you'd express yourself a little better. How can we tell if you're happy or sad?
I've never been happy or sad in my entire life. I want to die someday.
This guy's hopeless.
Anyway, let's explore this new route.
Hopefully it's the correct route this time. Let's move it, Master. Well, let's see where this leads us.
When you
Knowing
think
that-
about who could get past security, the only option we know of is Amapao.
Right.
True. And that's how we were able to get through security ourselves.
But it's just a toy robot, right? How is it related to the case?
I don't know yet, but since Amapal can get through security, it must be important.
Locked
It's-
door.
Sealed off here, too.
Hey, there's an intercom. Maybe someone will respond if you use it.
No way.
Oh, there's Dr. Huesca.
Huh? Doctor?
Huh? Wait. What the?
Oh, right.
Wait. Who are you?
This is the moment he died.
Help! Somebody come help me!
Isn't this the footage of when the doctor was attacked?
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
The mystery materialized. Must be related to what the doctor just said.
who are you was directed at who?
So the question
The
is...
culprit? No one.
Who did the
Amapao.
doctor say? Who are you? To?
Where's their couch?
Well, I'll leave it to you.
I don't get how you can keep reading at a time like this.
It was the culprit, wasn't it?
I can certainly understand why you'd want to choose that.
Right.
But I considered all the various possibilities, but I couldn't figure out a way to get past the security. If I'm right, then there is no... Which
Okay,
means
right.
you can't say the doctor was directing those words to the culprit.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, was it no one? It was no one. He wasn't... Was he...
The trap didn't activate. Does that mean we found the right answer? Huh? So the right answer is no one? Why would the doctor say, "Who are you?" if no one was there?
The security was still active at the time, so no one could enter the doctor's lab, right? And that was before I borrowed Amapel. So the
Right.
only explanation is that no one was there.
What was the doctor's motive?
Why would he say that if no one was there?
I think if we go there, we'll find the answer.
What? That route's obviously just a side road. Who cares what the old geezer was thinking
No,
anyway?
we have to explore this.
But it looks like this is the only way we can go. Besides, I am curious about what was going through his mind. It could be an important factor in solving the mystery behind this case.
Still, being forced to take a side route is too much trouble. Makes me wish I was dead.
Huh.
So, Master, do you have an idea about what the geezer was thinking?
Not yet, but I think it has to do with why he said, "Who are you?" I think the doctor was putting on an act.
An act?
The doctor put on an act for a reason, but I have no idea why.
Wait. Now I'm thinking here. We know that the security was disabled 90 days ago. What if that's when the doctor was killed?
We have to figure that out by
Although
going
you would
down
think the
this
body would have
doctor's
decayed by
motive route.
then. There must have been something special about it. Maybe that was the culprit pretending to be the doctor. Because even if there was someone off screen, the doctor couldn't have heard them because he was deaf. Oh, Yomi again. Hey, scumbag.
He's here too?
You rats keep scurrying around. Do you really think you'll discover Dr. Weska's motive this way? Good luck with that, morons! He had no motive at all!
Well, you said there's nothing here. Let's head back.
Vivia,
We can't do that.
I know you want to
Choose a
give up,
broader
but come
path.
on.
Then this route must be important.
Yeah.
Nah, fine.
I'm only here because you maggots piss me off. So, I'm gonna end you here and now!
Photo and the doctor's email records. I think it's probably the email records.
This was all part of the doctor's plan? He didn't have a plan at all. That exchange on the intercom wasn't an act. There was no reason to put on a show. The doctor misunderstood. You probably don't know this. Weska put his soul into his work. The research was going well.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so
This
that's
was
what I
all
have to
part
wait
of the
for.
doctor's plan?
The doctor was loyal to
He didn't
Amaterasu.
have a plan
He
at
was
all.
not.
That exchange on the intercom wasn't an act. There was no reason to put on a show. The doctor misunderstood. You probably don't know this. Weska put his soul into his work. The research was going well. The doctor was loyal to Amaterasu.
Oh, I just had to wait one more fucking second. Of course, I had to wait one more statement, and then I would have gotten it. Yeah, no, he was absolutely not loyal to Amaterasu. He was gonna betray you guys.
No, the doctor was planning on betraying Amaterasu Corporation. He was trying to escape Kanai Ward. He said so in the messages he wrote.
You little...
I'm it has to be whoever was emailing back and forth with him killed him. They even threatened as much in the emails. As to who it is, couldn't really say.
Yomi's rebuttal. What was that? What was he trying to deny? Why was he covering up the doctor's motives?
Yomi definitely has some part to play in all of this. I just don't know what it
This
is.
case involves the inner workings of Amaterasu.
Yeah. I think if anyone had a motive to kill Dr. Huesca, Yomi's definitely up there. Maybe even Makoto, too.
Right. The doctor was going to betray Amaterasu. And whoever he was emailing knew that. So the doctor locked himself in the lab to protect himself from that person.
Right.
Perhaps the doctor's act had something to do with that.
Oh. This a rail oh, no, it's just another question, it looks like.
It's the security gate. Everything's locked up.
How did the doctor plan to escape Kanai
Which
Ward?
means this is a complex problem. We have to choose the right door
Terrorist
and
bombing,
insert the correct
blackout,
solution
or
key.
swapping places.
This is way more hassle than before. Guess I'll leave it to you, Yuma.
As always.
That has to be it. By swapping places with someone else. Oh my god. Blackout doesn't make sense. Terrorist bombing makes absolutely zero sense. It has to be this. Does it have something to do with the notes? It does.
Oh, the door actually opened. I knew I could let Yuma handle it.
Are you sure you aren't a phantom?
So he definitely used sulfuric acid to melt someone down.
So the doctor tried to swap places with someone else to escape from Amaterasu. The notes he left behind in the lab hinted at his plan.
You mean the diagram with the sulfuric acid being poured on someone?
Yeah, he was going to swap places with a corpse, then melt it with acid. He wanted to disfigure it beyond recognition. That's how he planned to fake his own death.
At the very least, did it buy him enough time to escape Kanai Ward? Or so he thought.
Yeah.
Wow! Melting a corpse with sulfuric acid?
Yeah, I know, you're getting really turned on right now.
Yay! So cool and grotesque! So who was the substitute supposed to be?
Maybe the hitman. The doctor was under surveillance by Amaterasu, but he was still looking for a chance to escape.
The attempted murder would be a good opportunity.
When he learned
All
the
eyes would have been
hitman
on him.
was after him, he figured his chance had arrived. The doctor was hoping to use the security system to kill the hitman and use the body as a decoy.
Now that I think about it, the doctor did seem to be waiting for the hitman to arrive.
Yeah.
The hitman hasn't arrived yet. When will he show up? Don't tell me this so-called first-rate hitman was captured by peacekeepers.
But the hitman never did show up. That's why the doctor had a sudden change of plans.
And that was the act he put on by asking, "Who are you?"
Right.
Perhaps that was a trap to lure you in, Yuma.
That was his opportunity. So I wonder, that guy in the lab coat we saw, was that the real Dr. Huesca?
He was trying to lure Master?
He considered taking advantage of the detectives, since the hitman never showed up. So if he called for help, he would charge into the lab, not knowing anything about the security system,
There is that.
and thereby acquire the corpse he needed as his decoy.
That seems overly complicated. Like those guys who overthink asking girls out?
But that's not what happened at all. Because we knew about the security system.
Well, he couldn't have used another researcher. Someone would have noticed their absence.
Right.
He needed visitors. People from outside to pull it off.
So if I didn't know about the security and had rushed into the lab,
You'd be a super sexy skeleton right now.
Don't say that.
Aw, so close.
you want that?
But the doctor's plan failed, and he actually got boom killed by the hitman.
Let's see, where did we learn about the security system? Wasn't that from Dr. Huesca?
I get what he was trying to do, but what about the impossible murder?
No, that was from... Who told us about the security system? Makoto told us about it, right? Yeah, he
Assuming the
did.
attack on the doctor
Makoto was
just
the one who
an
told
act
us
that
about
was
it.
on through the intercom. We at least know for sure the real attack hadn't happened yet.
In other words, the culprit entered the lab after that exchange. So the problem is, when did they actually enter?
What the hell?
Where are we?
This place is a real mystery. Then again, I suppose that checks out.
Huh? Shinigami?
Yeah! Master!
turning point.
So, is that your final answer?
I haven't said anything yet.
The culprit entered the lab before Amapal.
Master, you need to narrow down the timing for when the culprit got inside.
They had to have
Now
entered
then,
before Amapal,
here's
right?
our fateful fork in the road. It's life or death. We are at the crossroads of mystery and solution. This earth-shattering choice may be your last. Now, Master, which one will you choose?
They had to have.
When I directed Amapal to go into the doctor's lab, he already had a knife stuck in him. Which means he was murdered before Amapal entered the doctor's lab.
Your answer? Is correct! Congratulations, Master! Would you like to double down?
What are you talking about? Anyway, let's keep going.
Okay. I feel tense.
Little by little, we're narrowing down when the culprit entered.
Yeah, but we still don't know how yet. It had to be between when we spoke to the doctor over the intercom and when Amapal entered his lab. During that time, the culprit entered the doctor's lab and murdered him.
So the most likely time would be when you went to borrow Amapal, Master.
I'm getting a really bad feeling
Culprit
about
had
this.
to have entered the lab then.
But Fubuki waited at the front chamber while Desuhiko and I went to borrow
That's
Amapal.
what I'm worried about.
She said no one entered
Please.
or left the lab.
Please, please, no. Game, don't let this be where this is going.
Huh? We're back on the original path.
Maybe you're supposed to try opening that door now.
I'm sure that from here on out, it's not just about when, but also how the culprit got in. Yuma, there's no need to push yourself if things get too hard.
No, I can do it. I'm going to solve it.
Where was the culprit before the crime?
This is a map of the critical lab.
So we have to determine where the culprit was before the murder.
We'll have to solve them one at a time. Let's start with this mystery.
If we know where the culprit was before they got in, this route will be clear too. Do you know where, Yuma?
Where was the culprit before the crime was committed? I really don't want to say this. Okay, that's a mistake, thank God. So they had to be in the locked chamber.
Detective was all.
Okay, I was worried they were going the direction Fubuki might have killed him, but oh, thank fucking God. I don't think my heart could have taken that. No? No.
As long as the security was still live, no one could enter.
Yes. Here.
They were hiding in the air vent. That's the only safe place they could have been.
It must have been here.
That's the only safe place they could have possibly been.
Yay! It opened!
Inside the
After
airlock.
the exchange on the intercom, given there was always a detective at the front chamber, when we went to borrow Amapal, the culprit had to have already made their way inside. But the airlock is the only location that isn't affected by the security system.
Right.
There. The culprit had to be inside that decontamination device before committing the crime.
was just hiding in there to avoid being spotted after the crime.
No, they must have been stowed
So
away
you
in there.
think the culprit was in there
Right, because
before the
there's
crime
no
too?
lock on the front door.
Yeah, the culprit was waiting for their chance. But we had no idea when we sent Amapel into the airlock.
And from there, Yuma, you guided Amapal to the doctor's lab.
We basically just let the killer in.
So the culprit entered the doctor's lab before then? How would that be possible? Only Amapal could get past security, right?
Yeah, that's the next big question.
Maybe the culprit used another Amapal unit.
No, that was the only one working.
No, the researcher mentioned there was only one functioning Amapal.
Which means the Amapal Yuma controlled was the only one that could get past security.
So the culprit must have taken advantage of Master's Amapal to get into the doctor's lab.
Right, we basically let the culprit in.
Yeah, that's the only way. But
Although-
how did they use it?
How can they have
There's
gotten
no
past the
solving
poison
doctor's
gas?
murder until we figure that out.
Wait, did they ride on top of it?
I have an idea. Will you hear me out?
Is that what the
What is
footprint was?
How about giving up?
Thanks,
I'm
Vega.
getting tired.
Nope, motion denied.
Maybe Amapel fell over when the culprit got off on top. Got off of them. He kicked it down. Right.
Another fork in the road.
They got out of the airlock and rode on top of Amapal. Somehow able to get past. I'm guessing they must have had the spacesuit to get past the poison gas, right? How did the culprit use Amapal?
Beyond each problem lies the truth. We're
As a
definitely
weapon?
getting closer
As
to
a
the heart of this
shield?
mystery.
I don't think it's as a weapon or as a shield. Didn't they use it as a ride?
Do you think neither is really the right answer?
Given the process of elimination, that must be it. Amapel's hands aren't designed to hold anything.
Yeah.
So it couldn't use the knife to murder the doctor. Which means Amapel wasn't the murder weapon.
Right.
And the culprit couldn't have used it as a shield. It can't neutralize the toxic gas, and the high voltage shock would destroy it.
Exactly. So it didn't
then,
use them either
what
of
did the
those.
culprit use Amapal?
I think we'll find out if we continue down this path.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. They probably rode on top of it.
That was the wrong answer! Come on, Master! Huh? We're...
Yeah, that wasn't wrong. We're right about that.
We've been here before. It looks like we've been brought back.
But the door we opened earlier is closed again. Why's that?
Yeah, I wonder why.
Where was the culprit before the crime?
Huh? Even the question is the same. Does that mean we gotta do it all over again?
Well, the logic is still sound. There's no other hiding spot for the culprit besides the airlock.
Right.
So you want to choose the same answer and keep going?
If you do, you'll just repeat the whole process again. We'll just be brought back here if we can't figure out how did the culprit use Amapal. And I refuse to walk any more than I have to.
Hey, don't sit down!
What should I do?
Stand up! Stand up right now!
Stop it. Leave me alone.
If you want me to leave you alone, then help my useless master out!
Fine. Just one thing
Do
then.
we have to change our perspective again?
We're back at where was the culprit before the crime? Because you're stuck at how did the culprit use Amapal? With that in mind, these two questions are connected.
They are.
Connected? Both the culprit's location and how Amapal was used?
They are. Exactly. Like I said, they were riding on Amapal.
Out more!
The culprit was hiding in the airlock, where you also left the robot, right?
They just climbed on top
At
and rode
that
it in.
moment, only the culprit and Amapal were there. So maybe the culprit did something.
The culprit did something to Amapal?
Clues are always there, right under your nose. It's a detective's job.
I think I'm
to
right here.
notice them.
That's
Did
what the
you notice
footprint was
anything
from.
strange back then? Any tiny detail? Try to remember.
Any tiny detail.
Something strange. Hey! Now that you mention it, back then...
Oh, hey, the screen lit up. So this is what Amapal sees. It's like the cockpit of a mecha.
Whoa, what was that?
Right! That's when someone climbed on top of him!
Did it break already? I thought it was state of the art.
Right!
No, it's alright.
I
stabilized.
completely forgot about that!
There was a moment when the camera stopped functioning while I was controlling Amapal. It returned to normal pretty quick, but maybe...
See? I told you it was right under your nose. You don't need any additional help from me, right?
That was a clue to help solve this mystery?
Actually, everything in this world is a key to solving mysteries. You just haven't noticed them. Perhaps there is more you're overlooking. Was there anything else unusual?
Something unusual. Something I missed.
Anything else? It's not like Amapal's camera showed the culprit.
Wait, that's it!
Huh?
Now that I think about it, wasn't that strange? The culprit must have gotten ahead of Amapal, but why didn't they ever show up on the camera? If the culprit went past Amapal to enter the doctor's lab, they would have been spotted for sure.
Now that you mention it,
But nobody showed up on camera. How did the culprit manage to pull that off? How can you move from the airlock to the doctor's lab without appearing even once on Amapal's camera?
hey, aren't you just adding another mystery?
No. All the pieces are here.
Huh?
Yuma, the mysteries you face now can be solved with a single answer.
A single answer?
Sheesh. I talk too much.
How did the culprit use Amapal? What caused Amapal's malfunction on the airlock?
What did you do now? It's a Pandora's box of mysteries!
Let's stay calm and think about it. There's plenty of time.
Maybe not.
Or not. I'll keep reading while you wrap things up.
Remember what he said, Master. All it takes is one answer to solve these mysteries. Use those weak brain cells of yours and think!
Culprit's location. Amapal's usage. Its malfunction. Why didn't the culprit appear on camera? All this can be solved with just one answer? I got it!
Yep. Just as I
Put
thought.
load on Amapal's head, using it as a method of transportation.
The door opened!
With every open door, it will be harder for you to turn back. Are you sure you want to keep going?
Absolutely! I will find the truth no matter what. This is for the Nocturnal Detective Agency.
I'm getting another bad feeling. Why Vivi is so adamant
You
about
said
us
the
not
culprit
solving
rode
the
on top of
case.
Amapow. What did you mean by that?
Literally what I said. The culprit rode Amapel and used it to get through. After we left Amapel in the airlock, the culprit came out of the decontamination device. Then they jumped on Amapel's head. The disruption in the footage was from the impact.
Right?
That's insane.
Is it? I think it's fairly reasonable. Amapal can withstand up to 100 kilograms of weight. So, someone riding on it shouldn't affect its functionality.
The shoe print on Amapel's head wasn't caused by someone kicking it. It was left there from the culprit hopping on and off.
After that, the culprit simply rode on it as it moved toward the doctor's lab. By doing so, the culprit was able to evade the camera and remain hidden as they made their way through the lab.
You're right. If it's true, it does solve all of the previous mysteries. Imagining the culprit riding on a robot makes me laugh.
But Yuma, have you not realized it?
Let me guess. Poison gas,
You're
right?
still missing something. One major mystery remains.
What's with that huge sigh?
The greatest mystery of this case should appear soon.
Oh.
Just the thought
Who's the
of it
culprit?
gets me feeling down.
This case's greatest mystery?
It has to be who's the culprit.
This is the panel chamber.
That means the doctor's lab is just beyond it. If we can get through here, we'll reach the goal, yeah? Is this the greatest mystery you mentioned?
Not exactly what I was envisioning.
Well, we know when this was too. It's when Amapal got knocked over.
Well, this is the mystery to be solved, so let's clear it out.
Beats me.
When would it have been possible for them to get into the room ahead of us? Right, while opening the door. Because Amapal can't turn.
The culprit murdered the doctor before Amapel entered the room. Which means the culprit had to have gotten ahead of Amapel at some point.
Right. So this is how it happened.
It was when the door first opened. At that moment, the culprit snuck into the doctor's room.
Yeah, when the doors were slowly opening, just like this. That's when the culprit took their chance.
Right. The moment there was enough space for a person to slip through, the culprit hopped off and went inside.
Like this? We still haven't reached the goal. I thought we could get into the doc's lab now.
Is this a joke to you? Your deduction is full of holes. If this is a joke, it's not very funny.
Master, you know what to do.
Of course.
I'll take your garbage deduction and toss it in the trash. I am the saint of Kanai Ward, protecting it from filth like you!
Fubuki's forte and Amapal's design. Let me see this. So, Fubuki can turn back time, used while controlling Amapal. Amapal's sturdy has many features. This has to be it.
The culprit hopped off Amapal as the door opened, then slipped through the gap in the door. That's impossible even for Fink the Slaughter Artist. Think about it. If Amapal's line of sight changed just a bit,
Nope.
Let's
Couldn't
do
have.
this mystery. Amapel is designed so that when its hand is stretched out, it won't execute any other inputs. That's why when it was pressing the button for the door, the culprit didn't show up on the camera.
you little maggots, don't get so full of yourselves. You're not getting out of here alive.
Gave up rather quick on that one.
I get it. So Amapel couldn't move while the door was opening. That's when the culprit took their chance.
Since the door opens outward, it's possible to take advantage of the blind spot it creates. That's how the culprit managed to stay outside the camera's view as they entered the doctor's room.
So it's an elaborate murder that took advantage of Amapal's design, and even the direction the door opens. Whoever planned this must have really wanted the doctor dead. I guess you can call it an obsession. How scary. Just like this passageway. Where will it take us? Perhaps a suite with the culprit's obsession in full display. A room of nightmares.
Knock it off with the weird soliloquies. Let's go.
You're really going?
Huh?
Hey, Yuma. When the culprit entered the doctor's room while the door was open,
Huh? Yeah?
at the time, the doctor was in the room, right?
Huh?
If the door opened and an intruder entered, how could the doctor not have noticed?
The doctor was deaf.
So what if he did notice? It's not a big deal.
Yes, it is. If he had noticed an intruder, the doctor would have turned to face him.
No, he
Which
wouldn't have.
means he wouldn't have been stabbed in the back.
That piece of trash is right. Your logic is flawed.
Hey, what are you, on the Phantom side now?
Listen to my incredible words of wisdom. Your crappy deduction is worth less than shit! Everything you do is a fucking mistake! Damn it! Your deduction is inconsistent. It's full of inconsistencies. By your logic, even if the doctor could be stabbed, it wouldn't be from behind. That's all impossible!
Okay, so it couldn't have been. It wouldn't have been from behind.
Yeah.
Damn it! Your deduction is inconsistent.
Oh,
It's full of inconsistencies. By your logic, even if the doctor could be stabbed, it wouldn't be from behind.
That claim doesn't hold up! No, the culprit did stab the doctor in the back. That's how the body was discovered.
That's why I'm saying your deduction is inconsistent. By your logic, the doctor couldn't have been murdered in that way!
Right, information on Dr. Huesca.
The culprit quickly entered the lab. But the doctor was in the room at the time, right? There's no way he missed an intruder. Running is noisy. So Wesker would have heard and turned to face the culprit. And his chest would have been stabbed, not his back.
No. Okay.
Say,
That's right.
Okay, so running is
Culprit
noisy.
quickly entered the lab.
That's what I perceived.
But the
Ow.
doctor was in the room at the time, right? There's no way he missed an intruder. Running is noisy. So Wesker would have
Ow.
heard and turned to face the culprit. And his chest would have been stabbed, not his back. Unless you think the doctor was asleep. Is there any trace of him being drugged? Even if he didn't look back from his desk,
Oh, here it
he
is.
would have heard someone coming.
Nope. So I was on the wrong one anyway. No, he wouldn't have.
Wait, the doctor had trouble hearing. That's why he didn't notice the intruder.
Now you're spouting nonsense. Say whatever you want, it won't save you. There's a gaping hole in your logic. And there's no way you're gonna fill it at this rate. Because you, more than anyone else, you're the one refusing to see the truth right before your eyes.
What? I refuse to see the truth? Vivius said the same thing. But
It's strange, don't you think? Isn't it about time you noticed that something's off here?
huh?
You've solved many mysteries up to now, yet none of them are directly connected to the culprit's identity.
that's because the culprit is the hitman.
If that's the case, why haven't you reaped the hitman's soul? And that would end the labyrinth.
That's true. If the culprit was the hitman, this labyrinth... Would the labyrinth even exist?
It's not that easy. The culprit will fight back, unless we solve all the mysteries first. Hang on. What are you getting at?
In my eyes, the reason a single mystery hasn't been directly connected to the culprit is because of Yuma's reluctance. It's pushing away the mysteries that lead to the culprit.
Huh?
Subconsciously, you're closing your eyes to the truth. That's why you haven't touched on the hole in your reasoning.
What hole?
Whatever, that's enough. Just ignore this guy and keep going.
Hey!
Can I open the menu now? There's something I want to look at. I can. I have a sneaking suspicion. 75 kilograms. Fuck. Is Yako Fink the Slaughter
Yuma,
artist?
Yuma.
Jeez, go away!
You know what I'm talking about, don't you? The huge hole in this investigation.
What are you...
Just ignore him.
Let's review your deduction, shall we? The culprit took advantage of Amapau's locked position and entered the lab. And before the robot entered the room, that person stabbed the doctor from behind. However, they bumped into Amapau while escaping, causing it to fall over. That was obviously a mistake, but since it wasn't captured on video, they were able to avoid detection. After that, the culprit went inside the decontamination device in the airlock to hide from you.
That's correct. So what's the hole in my deduction?
It's before all of that. It remains the case's greatest mystery.
Which is?
How did the culprit get past security?
What?
We already told you that. The culprit rode on top of Amapal as Master
No.
controlled it and was taken all the way to the doctor's lab.
How did they get past Amaterasu's security?
But if someone was riding on it, how did they get past the high voltage shocks in the panel chamber?
Oh,
But we used Fubuki's forte for that.
This is the end
And
for
it
you.
had to have been
You have
someone who
nowhere
knew
left
about
to go.
Fubuki's forte. That's why it's Chief Yako. Because the culprit had to be someone who knew about Fubuki's forte. Shit.
oh, come on! Why now?
I won't let you maggots ruin the peace of Kanai Ward! As the king of Amaterasu Corporation and the guardian of Kanai Ward, I will stop you here and now!
Perhaps this, too, is an obsession. Why does he insist on covering up the truth?
Yeah, what does Yomi gain from any of this?
Tell me, what will you do, Yuma? Are you going to stay willfully blind?
No, I'll fight. Whether it's subconscious or not, I won't look away from the truth. I'll find the truth no matter what. This is for the Chief and everyone at the Nocturnal Detective Agency.
Good luck! You'll never find it. You'll scurry around this labyrinth forever, like blind mice. You'll rot away in it, looking for an answer that will never come!
I wonder. Were Yako and Yomi working together? I'm assuming that maybe Yako's motive had something to do with
Keep
that picture. And
playing
Yomi
with
wanted
your shit deductions.
Yomi wanted him dead because he
You
was
still
trying
haven't
to
solved the
escape from
greatest mystery.
Kanai Ward.
How did the culprit get past the security? The critical lab security system was always live. There was no way to reach the doctor. The panel chamber shocks would have fried the culprit. That security system? No living human can breach it.
Ow.
Don't
Ow.
tell me the culprit is a robot.
No living human could reach it.
But... that's right.
Keep playing with your shit deductions. You still haven't solved the greatest mystery. How did the culprit get past the security? The critical lab security system was always live. There was no way to reach the doctor. The panel chamber shocks would have fried the culprit. That security system? No living human can breach it.
Oh my god, again, the fucking white noise got me!
Keep playing with your shit deductions.
We still haven't solved the greatest mystery. How did the culprit get past the security? The critical lab security system was always live. There was no
Way to reach
the doctor. The panel chamber
chamber shocks would have fried
the culprit. That
security system. No living human can breach it.
Oh my god, again!
the culprit is a robot.
This fucking white noise, I
Keep
swear.
playing
With your shit deductions. We still haven't solved the
greatest mystery. How did the culprit get past the security? The critical lab security system was always live. There was no way to reach the doctor. The panel chamber shocks would have fried the culprit. That security system? No living human can breach it.
Now slash through this mystery. A human could get past the panel chamber by using Fubuki's forte. In fact, that's how we got past the panels. The high voltage shocks kept destroying Amapel. But we reversed time every time that happened.
Correct.
Yep.
So whenever it was struck by the current, he went back in time. But while that was occurring, the culprit, a human, was riding on top of Amapel.
Yep. And they were being saved every time.
That person was burnt to a crisp every time you failed.
But
Which means you killed the culprit over and over again.
Vivia,
If only you had chosen to remain ignorant, I would have walked beside you in silence. But if you intend to seek the truth, then I must stand in your way.
what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
He's going to betray you, Master.
Betray me?
It's up to you, Yuma. This is your final chance to save the world you believe in. What are you going to do? It's time to decide your past and your future.
Why, Vivia?
Vivia. Let me see. Regular gas masks are ineffective. 30 minutes after exposure for toxins to spread, death is certain. Stab wounds. Researcher witnessed a dark silhouette pass through the shadows.
Yes.
Maybe?
How did the culprit bypass the toxic gas chamber? It's impossible to avoid the gas. The culprit would surely die. You should already know this, right? The gas is a special trait. The gas can see through even a gas mask.
No, that's true.
Say,
Yeah, it doesn't kill you immediately after exposure. Okay. That's what it is.
How did the culprit bypass the toxic gas chamber? It's impossible to avoid the gas. The culprit would surely die.
No. Okay, just wait, John.
Let me ask. How did the culprit bypass the toxic gas chamber? It's impossible to avoid the gas. The culprit would surely die. You should already know this, right? The gas is a special trait. The gas can see through even a gas mask. No ability can nullify its toxicity. Once it hits you, you're done for. You
die before reaching Weska. No one.
This is the truth. If you pass through the toxic
Why is he
gas,
only
you'll
up in the
die.
fucking model errors?
30 minutes before it kills you. Which means you could survive for 30 minutes.
What? Don't tell me.
There are no gas masks here that can block this toxic gas, and no fortes that can nullify it.
So whoever hits that gas is doomed to die. No matter what you do.
There's only one way you could get through it.
Just take the gas.
You do nothing. You endure it in hopes of Amapel taking you to the next room.
Then the culprit didn't do anything to counteract it and just passed through the toxic gas?
It's the only explanation that makes sense. This is the truth. I can't believe it. But if the culprit really did just endure the toxic gas,
Then they...
the culprit is...
It appears you finally glimpsed the truth. Well, how does it feel to have your world shatter before your eyes? Isn't this what you wanted?
Huh? What's he talking about?
Yomi's Mystery Phantom and Fifia are both right. Subconsciously, I didn't want to know the truth.
Huh?
Up until now, the Mystery Labyrinth was withholding the mysteries that led to the culprit. And that's because it's a reflection of my own reluctance.
Master, what's wrong? Do you know who the culprit is?
Yeah.
It's the hitman, right?
The truth is worthless. Nothing has less value in this isolated, rainy city. No one wants the truth. Not even you! Now, rot away and die right here! No one will get in my way. Kai Lord, Amaterasu! They both belong to me! If the culprit carried out the crime like you deduced,
Ow.
then they should be dead from the toxic gas. But no one at the scene has died from poisoning. If you can understand that much, then what are you still doing here?
You're right that no one in that lab died from that toxic gas.
Yep.
But that was part of the culprit's plan from the beginning. They planned to distort the facts of their death.
Yuma, are you sure you want to face the truth? Your world will fall apart. The world that you believed in.
Your deduction is wrong. Don't disturb the peace. It's not even worth debating. Is this the best you can do to refute it? Just give up and die!
With this, I'll expose the truth.
There was no hitman.
The culprit misrepresented their death by using the hitman.
The culprit realized their plan would be exposed if someone in the lab died from toxic gas. So they used the hitman to cover up their own death.
Use the hitman?
Meaning, the hitman wasn't hired to assassinate the doctor.
They were hired to assassinate the culprit.
They were hired to cover up the culprit's death by toxic gas.
Huh? The hitman's target was the culprit? Not the doctor? But the doctor was stabbed by the knife with the inscribed F. Doesn't that belong to the hitman?
It does.
All you would need is a similar knife. The story of Fink the Slaughter Artist using a knife inscribed with the letter F is well known.
Nah, we'll leave it alone until we receive further orders. Did you see the knife stuck in his back? It's the one that Fink the Slaughter Artist uses, right? I've heard about his knives inscribed with the letter F.
So it was all a ruse? The real culprit made it look like the hitman did it?
Stop. Stop, 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 stop! You useless garbage! To hell with detectives and the truth! I won't let you have your way in my city! There is no real culprit! Dr. Wesker was killed by the hitman!
Huh? What's going on? Who's the real culprit?
There's only one person it could be. Only one other person died at the lab today.
The real culprit. The real culprit is...
The time has finally come. Yuma. It's time for you to acknowledge what you've known all along. If the tiny crack spreads any further, the mirror will shatter, exposing the chaos of the real world. Knowing this, will you still expose the truth? Then, show me your conviction.
The clues pointing to the identity of the hitman's target. I know. I've known all along.
Now, expose the truth. Do it if you want to burn the world down.
Defeat Yomi with a K. What was the clue leading to the true culprit?
The bloodstained photo found in the hallway near the lab. There was a person pictured with a woman. That was the hitman's target. The real culprit behind this case. The blood obscured the person's face, but I know who it is. It could only be one person. It could only be...
How do you know? That person in the photo is the hitman's target. And who is it?
It's...
No! Stop! Don't you dare say another word! No one wants the truth!
I don't understand, but good luck, Master. I'm always by your side, haunting you.